Ich werde für Lindsay.
I'm Alexander Levinsky. I will translate Lindsay's presentation for Mr. Kaiser. We are born in the same year, 1957. When I was a young woman and wanted to travel, I was told that the world would always be there. There was no rush. But how have times changed now for young people today and tomorrow? I'm coming from Australia all the way just to talk to Siemens. Now, your promise to reduce emissions are admirable. It seems to be really important to you. And you said that the last generation, you're the last generation of managers that could do it. You are the very center of the climate change debate, and there's a good reason for this. A partnership with a company which doesn't deserve trust, such like Adani, because their values are the exact opposite of the integrity that you're talking about. This partnership is bad for you and for your shareholders. So now you have to take action. You have to walk away from this contract before this will ruin everything that you talked about today. You are the last generation of managers who can do that, after all. So why don't you do something? Why don't you take action now? It's not too late. I myself have 2 tourist boats in the Whitsundays on the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. And in 2016 and 2017 alone, 50% of the Great Barrier Reef bleached out, were destroyed. So the destruction of the Great Barrier Reef has one cause in particular, the warming of the oceans. And this means that the corals are losing their color, bleaching, and man-made climate change has caused all of this. And you as a company, you hold the key. You can change it. Strict environmental regulations don't mean anything to a company like Adani. The environmental violations that this company is responsible for in India, I experienced it at first hand. My book, Following in its Dirty Footsteps, Adani won a literature award from Queensland, a People's Choice Award, because it's so important to the people there. And the people will really take care of the companies, and they're going to pass judgment on a company that decides to support somebody who violates the environment all the time. And in Parsa, in a small village in Udaipur, you know, the population was completely dependent on the drinking water of Adani. And Adani first promised that on a daily basis they would deliver drinking water, and this promise was worth nothing. They didn't get any water, and the village population had to find their own water. Adani always makes these promises, but they don't live up to these promises. They deceive people. Twice they violated the guidelines in Australia, and they very much exceeded the permissible level, and sediment-loaded or polluted water was then released to bird sanctuaries, and this often happened before the mine got the go-ahead. Ms. Simpson. Ms. Simpson, I have a lot of empathy for your situation in Australia, and I think all of us very much feel for the situation in Australia, but it's not a problem we can solve here at the AGM. Can I ask you to submit your comments in writing to the speakers table, and then we will try to read it?
Could we just ask you 2 questions?
Danke.
You said that Siemens would cancel the contract with Adani if Adani violates environmental laws. How can you determine whether such a violation occurred? And do you expect Adani to approach you so that you could find it out? Or how exactly do you think you're going to find this out? And secondly, I would also like to say that, by the way, I left my book here for you. I hope you're going to like my book, because in the book you can find all of the facts on Adani. Thank you.